As Marcus Aurelius once said, the art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. It stands ready to meet everything that comes, and is not disturbed by what has passed. In a world where we're constantly bombarded by distractions, be it the endless pursuit of success, the pressure of other people's opinions, or the fear of what the future holds, how do we find peace? How do we remain unshaken in the face of life's chaos? The answer lies in an ancient, yet profoundly powerful idea. An idea called indifference. But what does it really mean to be indifferent? Is it the same as being cold or uncaring? Or is there a deeper, more liberating philosophy behind this idea that can help us navigate the challenges of modern life? Today, we dive into the powerful teachings of Stoicism, exploring how the concept of indifference, as taught by the great philosopher and Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, can help us find true inner freedom and resilience. So, whether you're stressed out by the expectations of others, battling your inner critic, or simply trying to stay grounded in an unpredictable world, the Stoic art of indifference might just hold the key to your ultimate peace. Let's break it down and discover how you can start practicing it today. 1. The core concept of indifference in Stoicism. In Stoic philosophy, indifference refers to the ability to maintain mental clarity and emotional tranquility by recognizing what is within our control, internally, and what is beyond our control, externally. Stoics believe that only our actions, thoughts, and judgments are truly under our influence. Everything else, including events, outcomes, and the behavior of others, lies outside our power. External events and our responses, Stoics divide all things into two categories. Things within our control, our own actions, thoughts, and judgments. Things beyond our control, everything external to us, such as the actions of others, natural events, and external circumstances. Indifference to external events means understanding that we do not control these things. We can, however, control how we respond to them. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. By practicing indifference, we stop allowing external events to disturb our inner peace. We recognize that our judgments about things are what disturb us, not the things themselves. 2. The emotional power of indifference. Emotions, according to Stoicism, are the result of faulty judgment. When we attach too much significance to things outside our control, such as the opinions of others, success or failure, or even our own material wealth, we invite emotional turmoil. By practicing indifference to external events, Stoics avoid unnecessary emotional extremes. The role of desire and fear. Stoicism holds that desire for things beyond our control leads to frustration, and fear of losing them. Conversely, fear of negative outcomes, like death, poverty, or failure, arises from the same misguided attachment. Indifference, then, is a way of reducing both desire and fear. Marcus Aurelius famously reminds himself in Meditations, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This suggests that our emotional state is largely shaped by how we perceive and interpret the world. If we allow ourselves to become overly attached to external events, we let those events define us emotionally. Indifference helps to break this cycle. By understanding that external things are neutral, we remain unshaken when confronted with hardship, praise, or loss. This leads to emotional resilience, the ability to experience external events without letting them dictate our emotional state. 3. Indifference to praise and criticism. One of the central aspects of Stoic indifference is to detach ourselves from external validation. Human beings are often driven by the desire for praise and the fear of criticism. For Stoics, however, praise or blame from others holds no inherent value. What matters is the alignment of one's actions with virtue. The illusion of external validation. Marcus Aurelius states, "What is not good for the hive cannot be good for the bee." In other words, external praise is based on others' limited understanding and opinions, and these opinions have little bearing on the real value of our actions. What truly matters is our own integrity and the pursuit of what is virtuous. If we act rightly, whether others acknowledge it or not, we should remain indifferent to their judgments. The practice of indifference here means not allowing praise to inflate our ego or criticism to deflate our self-worth. The Stoic wisdom is, it is better to be true to your own values than to seek the approval of others. In Meditations, Marcus frequently reminds himself of the transience of human life and the folly of living for the approval of others. He says, "How much time you have wasted on the opinions of others. What they think of you is irrelevant." This helps the Stoic detach from societal pressures and focus on living according to reason and virtue. 4. Indifference to success and failure. The Stoic view of success and failure is radical. In Stoicism, success is not defined by external outcomes, money, fame, recognition, but by living virtuously. Failure occurs only when we act contrary to our nature as rational beings, not when external circumstances don't go as planned. Focus on what we can control. Success and failure, from a Stoic perspective, are indifferent. What truly matters is the effort we put forth and whether we act in line with virtue, regardless of the outcome. For example, Marcus Aurelius writes, "Do not be driven by the hope of the outcome, but by the pursuit of virtue." If we focus on living virtuously, we are already successful, no matter the external result. Moreover, Marcus Aurelius often reflects on how failure can actually be a lesson. When things don't go as planned, the Stoic views it as an opportunity for growth. For instance, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This highlights how challenges and obstacles are not just unavoidable, they are the path to deeper wisdom. Through this mindset, failure becomes a tool for growth, rather than something to be feared or avoided. 5. Indifference to pain and suffering. In Stoicism, pain and suffering are natural parts of life. They are unavoidable and part of the human experience. However, what we do with these experiences is within our control. While we cannot control the fact of pain, we can control how we react to it. Turning suffering into strength, Marcus Aurelius constantly reminds himself that physical and emotional pain are not inherently bad, it's our reaction to them that matters. As he writes, the act of dying is one of the acts of life. In this, he refers to the inevitability of death, suffering, and loss. Rather than rejecting or fearing these experiences, we must accept them with equanimity. We should strive to endure them without letting them disturb our tranquility. For Stoics, the ability to endure hardship without being consumed by it is a form of strength. In times of pain, the Stoic response is to remain calm and recognize that suffering is often temporary. By practicing indifference to pain, we build resilience and fortitude. 6. Indifference to death. One of the most profound expressions of indifference in Stoicism is towards death. In Stoic thought, death is simply a natural event that should not be feared or avoided. The Stoic perspective is that death is neither good nor bad, it just is. Fear of death, therefore, is an irrational response to something we cannot control. Marcus Aurelius meditates on the fact of mortality frequently, reminding himself of the fleeting nature of life. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. In Stoicism, death is a reminder to live with urgency and purpose. Knowing that life is finite helps us focus on what really matters, virtuous living. Death should not lead to despair, but to a greater appreciation of the present moment and our moral responsibilities. 7. Indifference to wealth and poverty. In Stoicism, wealth and poverty are also indifferent. While the pursuit of wealth can lead us to develop virtues such as industry or resourcefulness, wealth itself is not inherently good. It is merely an external condition. Similarly, poverty is not bad in itself, it is simply a lack of resources, and it does not diminish the value of a person's character. True wealth is internal. Marcus Aurelius consistently reminds himself that true wealth comes from the mind, from wisdom, from the pursuit of virtue, and from self-mastery. He writes, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." We should not seek wealth for wealth's sake, nor should we allow poverty to define us. Stoicism encourages indifference to both conditions, focusing instead on cultivating internal virtues like wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. 8. The practice of indifference in daily life. To make indifference a practical part of your life, Stoics use several strategies: daily reflection and journaling. Marcus Aurelius wrote meditations as a form of self-reflection, reminding himself of Stoic principles. By writing down your thoughts, you can assess where you might be over-attached to external things and realign your thoughts. Negative visualization. This Stoic exercise involves imagining the worst-case scenario in any given situation. It helps reduce the fear of loss and prepare emotionally for challenges. For example, imagine losing your job or facing illness. By visualizing these challenges, you detach from the fear of them. Reframing. When faced with difficulties, Stoics practiced seeing the event from a different perspective. For instance, a challenging experience can be reframed as an opportunity to practice patience, resilience, or compassion. Mindfulness, staying present and focused on the task at hand, without distraction by external desires or fears, is key to Stoic indifference. Practicing mindfulness helps you control your responses to external events. 9. The power of indifference. The Stoic practice of indifference is not about rejecting life or becoming apathetic. It's about cultivating inner freedom by distinguishing between what we can and cannot control, and focusing on what truly matters, living virtuously and maintaining emotional resilience. By practicing indifference to external events, outcomes, and emotional disturbances, we build an inner peace that remains unshaken, regardless of the turbulence around us. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us in Meditations, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. By recognizing the neutrality of external events and focusing on virtue, we free ourselves from the tyranny of fortune and the judgments of others, allowing us to live lives of purpose, tranquility, and moral integrity. So, what if the secret to lasting peace isn't found in controlling everything around us, but in how we respond to it? What if true strength comes not from avoiding life's storms, but from learning to dance calmly in the rain? That's the power of Stoic indifference. By embracing indifference, we're not becoming apathetic, we're becoming resilient. We're learning to focus on what we can control, and letting go of the rest. In doing so, we build an inner fortress, unshaken by the chaos of the world. So, next time you find yourself caught in the whirlwind of life, remember, the key to true freedom lies within you. It's in your thoughts, your choices, and your ability to remain steadfast, no matter what comes your way. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the Stoic mindset. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Stay calm, stay resilient, and remember, peace begins from within.